Y ya.
Muy grandes. Hey guys, welcome to another vlog. This time I'm broadcasting from Mexico and we are in a traditional Mexican restaurant in a Coyoacan, and this looks like a feast, and it is actually a feast. Everything was really tasty, especially those things that I thought were tacos, but they are actually sopecitas. I'm doing yet another voiceover because I thought I was on holiday, so I didn't realize that I would need to film something in English, so I just casually filmed in my native language. So I hope you don't mind another voiceover. So in this video, I wanted to show you a bit of Coyoacan, a very nice neighborhood in Mexico. This is a place where there is a museum of Frida Kahlo. I'm sure you've heard of it. And there are also a couple of interesting landmarks in Coyoacan. And overall, it's just a very nice place to walk around the city. It's very pedestrian friendly. There are many of parks, squares, markets, and good restaurants all around Coyoacan. It's actually my third time in Mexico, and Pepe is from Mexico City, so Coyoacan is his home district. Coyoacan is also a very safe place. I never felt unsafe in this neighborhood, and we also had our wedding photo session here about 3 years ago, so it was fun. As I said, Coyoacan is a lovely place and it's definitely worth visiting for a day or a half a day. The only problem, it's quite hard to reach by public transport. I don't recommend you using a minibus, so just grab a taxi, or better, even better, grab one of the ride-sharing apps like Uber or one of the local Mexican apps. These are completely safe and you'll get there in almost no time at all. If you're visiting Mexico for the first time, here are a couple of things you need to know. First of all, Mexico is quite elevated. So it's located above around 2,200 meters above the sea level. It means that you might feel a bit dizzy there, or you might not. But I do, and I always have my nose bleeding in Mexico City in the first couple of days. Secondly, unfortunately, Mexico is quite polluted, so the air quality is not the greatest. It's not so obvious in Coyoacan, but it is quite visible and you can sense it pretty well while driving in Mexico City. Also, Mexico survived an earthquake a couple of years ago, and some of the buildings in the city are still destroyed, including one of the most popular districts, Condesa, so it looks slightly different to how it used to look like about a couple of years ago. If you're wondering where are we currently walking, we are walking towards the Coyoacan market, where you can buy a lot of things, you can also eat, and you can buy fruits. Or you can also take one of the Coyoacan's main attractions, the tourist train, and it takes you on a tour around the district, so you don't have to walk if you don't feel comfortable walking, or if you feel a bit tired, and you also listen to an excursion. However, the excursion is in Spanish, so unless you know Spanish, you don't rely on the information you'll learn from the tour, because you'll probably won't understand much. So here is the Coyoacan market. Let's just walk around and you'll see what you can buy there. I think it's pretty authentic. There are a lot of traditional outfits and traditional things you can find there. It's very crowded, even during the working days during the work time. There are restaurants. These are generally very affordable. You can buy a set meal for something like $4. There are plenty of fruits. So if you want to try something new, some exotic fruits or vegetables, that's really a great place to find them, as well as traditional sweets, traditional spices, and just generally some groceries, and even piñatas. This is one of the main squares of Coyoacan, and it's a square where everybody goes eating, because on every side of the square is absolutely full of nice restaurants. Also, in the evenings, people generally gather and sit on the benches and just spend some time in the park. There is free Wi-Fi, so in case you're looking for internet, you can find it here. There's also a beautiful statue of coyotes in the middle, and behind you can see the house where Pepe used to live. Coyoacan used to be a nice leafy suburb of Mexico City where wealthy people used to have their huge vacation homes. It's lovely, colorful. The streets are generally narrow. There is not much parking for the cars. So, as I said, it's pretty walkable. And still, some of the wealthy people live here. So, the house you see on the left side is actually the house where one of the ex-presidents of Mexico still lives, and he has a lot of security always standing outside of this house. However, the city Mexico City grew over the last 50 years. You probably know now it's pretty big. It's actually enormous. So now Coyoacan is just one of the districts of Mexico City, although it still has this nice kind of vacation home feel to it, and it's also pretty expensive to live in, especially if you have a house and not a flat. It's time for us to head to another area. Luckily, we didn't have to rent a car because Pepe's mom still has her car here. So we are heading to Condesa, and I wanted to show you my bag that I purchased in Switzerland. I wanted this color for so long. I think it's just so beautiful, this bright pink color, and I absolutely love it. So we are heading to Condesa. Driving in Mexico City is a bit challenging, so if you haven't driven in Mexico before, I just don't really recommend you to hire a car and drive in the city. Also, the traffic is generally huge. But the taxis are not so expensive, so why not ask for a taxi instead? Another thing in Mexico City is that if you don't watch out, the street machine cleaners will just run to you out of nowhere, and unless you literally shout at them, no, please leave us alone, they will start cleaning and then they will start demanding payment. So if you're not quick enough, your car will be washed and you'll have to pay for it. So it's a very Mexican thing. I haven't seen it pretty much anywhere else. So we are in Condesa. Condesa is one of the poshest and most hipster districts of Mexico City. It's full of nice restaurants, nice cafes and coffee shops, and it has this walkable boulevard in the middle of it. It took us about maybe 25 to 30 minutes to get there from Coyoacan. We left our car at one of the parkings, and we are off to explore the area a little bit. It's, as I mentioned before, it suffered a bit during the earthquake in Mexico, so it doesn't look as good as it used to be. But we found a couple of nice coffee spots and picked one, and the drinks were pretty unique, I'd say, and everybody seemed to work there except for us. This is a restaurant called Blanco Colina. It's stunning inside and outside. It's pretty pricey for Mexico standards, but quite cheap compared to US standards. And the food was so if you're looking for a place to go out in Mexico City, I would definitely recommend it. And the drinks were also pretty good, I'd say. We are back in Coyoacan next day, and we are about to try the elote, basically a huge corn prepared in a very Mexican way with a lot of mayo, soft cheese, and a bit of paprika and a bit of chili. I must say it tastes absolutely amazing, and there is a place that prepares them right on the main square. It's not expensive at all, and it's such a unique and tasty dish. Another thing I absolutely loved in Mexico City is the traditional soup called birria. The main birria is allocated to Estadio Azteca. However, Pepe said that this area is not precisely the safest, so just get there by taxi and go back by taxi as well.
Done, I took many.
And if we were talking about the food, another very nice and traditional restaurants you should definitely visit in Mexico is El Cardinal. There are actually quite a few of them in Mexico City, but we went to the one close to the San Angel area. And here are some very strange Mexican things. Insects you can buy in a can, and alcohol you can buy with a worm in Mexico. It's called mezcal. It's very unique. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog from Mexico, from Coyoacan especially. I'm sorry I didn't show you the Frida Kahlo Museum, but I assume you will visit it anyways. And see you guys in the next vlog. Bye!